back with some more tissue paper and my trusted set of toothpicks. Let's get some out. Get what feels like this. And let's start painting. Yeah, tooting. Yeah, definitely. So I'm gonna go ahead for, I know I said never to use from the paint directly, but it's just I tinted too much at this point, so I'm gonna have to go ahead and actually I'm gonna just dry it like this a little more and get just paint on it for a while. There could be an argument for priming it before painting, but again, for the limited, I am obviously having trouble sticking the paint onto the piece at this point, but I think it has more to do with me tinning it too much rather than the lack of primer here. But we'll see. And as before, I can always go for a second coat if it proves to be too. Like if there are gaps in the color, I can always go for a second coat after they dry up. It will take some time. So you can basically do these small parts with the brush, but the brush will never paint evenly. Okay? I mean, unless you're an experienced painter who, like an industrial painter who knows how to paint in equal strokes. Your strokes will always have some variation between them. So for large parts, like if you're doing like a large model, you should always use an airbrush. So I'm not sure I will use for this model, but for any model that's like larger, it's essential to use an airbrush, where you want the color distribution to be uniform. Yeah, what's happening is even with pure paint, I'm having trouble with sticking the paint on the piece. So that's unfortunately what happens. Oops, that should be in this. That should stick in the center. Okay, that was good. I'm gonna add just more paint in an attempt to make this mixture here usable, because I don't want to really, I don't like what I'm doing right now, like using directly from inside it, but I've tinted too much and now it's really hard to untint it, if you like. So, and it just makes it quite watery as well. I need to dry the paint and then, you know, go for another coat here. I will probably need several coats anyway to get this done, but it's amazing how difficult it is. So maybe I should have primed it beforehand. It's really, like, I'm really struggling to get it to stick, you know, to the paint. And with that much paint, with that much water, it basically acts as a wash now. And I think they've already added some water inside to prevent it from drying up, presumably. But that means it's not very tunable. Anyway, this will definitely need another coat. So I'm not too concerned right now, because I'm going to paint it over it again anyway. So not much to be done that front. Alright, that can go here to dry as well. We have two more. We need two more toothpicks, so let's get them. Get one like this, like a cocktail stick. And but still, like, this makes painting so much easier than what I used to do, which was just holding by my hand and just trying to avoid the parts that shouldn't be painted using Mach 1 eyeball, which didn't work. And then I discovered masking and everything changed. Not really, but you know, get the idea. It became better for sure. Yeah, this looks so not metallic, but anyway, just probably for the other coats will be better, I think. I'm stubbornly wanting to use this the portion that I thinned, but it's just not happening. It's not really sticking to the piece, and even with pure paint I'm having trouble. Of course, although I'm hoping that the watery paint doesn't seep through to the center of the wheel here, I hope. One more. Okay, gotcha. Okay, now what I'm going to do is we want to do these out to dry, and like I will need to do a whole new coat on those as well, because there's just no paint on them, like as if it's not even painted. So I've given you a very good example of wrong tinning, I guess. Yeah, you're welcome. Sorry about that. But at least now you know what not to do. This was an over tint. Yeah, probably it's best to wait for them to dry completely and then go on with the process, but there are certainly some of the wheels that will need to be painted over. Yeah. Next time, I think with the next model I'm doing, I'm definitely going to use it like a spray can primer. So that really needs to be necessary for a good fit there. So I'm going to go ahead and, just do the rough patches of this one, not the entire thing, just for a little, because I don't want to overdo it. Let's use masking, but just part of it that I can use, so I don't waste this precious paint. Okay, that's good. Let's see. Can I do some of the parts in here? Well, let me just put a touch of this in here, maybe. I will not put much because I will need a much smaller, brush to do those details. So I'm just gonna call it quits for this one here. Let's see what I can do. I'm gonna go ahead and put these like this. Okay. I'm gonna put this paint right back on the can, if I can do that. I don't know, can I? I'm not sure if it will fit. No, it will be a mess. It won't work. Sorry. So I'm gonna definitely like soak this and clean it up now, so it's free of paint. So I can use it. I can hope to use it some other time. Yeah, there's no paint on it right now. Just dry it up carefully and put it in its correct spot here. Okay. So yeah, I'm not certain what to do with this paint, which is gonna just helplessly dry out there, unless I can think of a way of getting it inside the pot. I don't know. See, do I have anything to, like a spoon I could, which would never be used again? Okay, I'm just gonna do it. Let's see what happens. Yep, there you go. That's not too bad, was it? Yeah, it was. Sorry. Yeah, I could salvage at least some of that paint, I think. I'm gonna have to give it a good stir after this, definitely, but it's fine. Okay, that's good. Let's do a cleanup. Again, there could be an argument for using gloves like that, but okay, I don't want this to stick, so I'm gonna take this out. This shouldn't be here, and I'll just close this down. I've saved a lot of paint, so I've done my economy. I can use it to just get more of that there. So that's what I'm using it for right now. Make it like this. Same thing here, and they will look more metallic, like more shiny. They will look much better when they dry. So I'm not too concerned. I'm just a little concerned. May not cut too well. So get to drying. I'm gonna get this big lump as well. Again, not too bad. Don't expect a perfectly clean modeling mat, but that's like as good as it can get, I think. So now there will be several hours to wait for them to dry up. Meanwhile, I'll get a decent glue to attach the wheels to that. So let's do one more sweep like this, and I'll see you in the next one.